Alright, just a quick video for fitment overall with the engine and trans, a few things I found, a few things I had to order, just so you guys have that information. So, the engine itself, right now I have the factory oil pan on it. I had to mess with the power steering rack to get it to fit the way it is. So if I want to put the factory power steering back in it the way it was, which I'm going to, I have to put on Milodon oil pan. I have the part number. I will link that part number. I think it's 30995. And that's all that needs done oil pan wise, and it'll work. I'm running the Holley engine mounts. I'm going to run the Holley accessory kit, all that. But just for now. So with those engine mounts, fits great. Like I said, the oil pan is the only thing that needs changed if you want to drop it in right away, or you can just remove some of the stuff off the power steering system, which I did. The firewall itself, you have all the little studs for heat shields and just different mounting points for wiring. I shaved all of that. I cut everything off. I'm going to smooth everything out. I think the back of one of the heads contacted one of them studs, and instead of even messing with it, I just cut it off. But I've been told it would clear if I would have left it. So no alterations to the firewall itself, no alterations to the frame. I do have a starter under this right now. Everything's hooked up the way it should be. The alternator does not clear in its factory location, probably by a decent amount. I'll show you a picture. That'll take a picture of the alternator where it sits right now. So the alternator will not clear. So oil pan, alternator, oil filter cooler, that also does not clear. I'll also show you a picture of that. So you have to run either a relocation kit, or to make a 45 or a 90-degree adapter off of, I believe they're off of Hellcats, I'm not 100% sure. That's where I found them. Pretty pricey. I'll put a picture of that so you can see that. So oil pan, alternator, oil filter, cooler bracket. And for the engine, I believe that's it. Like right now, I have that cooler off. It's just sitting open. There's no filter even on this thing, so it can sit in there. But I know what I need to do to make it work. So I believe that's it for the engine. Like I said, I have the trans bolted up to it right now, so I'll go through that with you real quick. Alright, quick video. You can see here, the alternator right now is it's sitting on the frame itself, and the mounting holes are down here about an inch below where these bolts are. So you can see it doesn't remotely line up. Holley has a kit. I think it moves it up and in, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that though, but there is a kit to relocate that, so that's not a problem at all. And as for the oil cooler, here it is. You can see where it was contacting the frame, or it's actually not the frame itself, it's the engine mount, the factory engine mount. This right here. So a lot of people just told me to cut that out and notch it, which there's nothing wrong with that. I just didn't want to do it that way. I'm gonna run the 45 or the 90 kit on this. So right now you can see the oil filter tube in the cooler originally came all the way down to here, and then your filter's on that. So I just have the factory tube in there right now. This will be removed. You can remove this and put just the threaded insert in and run just the oil filter. The oil filter itself will clear. It's close, but it clears. It's just this cooler that you can't run in this location, and I still want to run a cooler. So I'm either going to relocate it or put the 45 or 90 on there. Haven't decided. When I make that decision, I'll definitely fill you guys in. All right, go over trans fitment for you guys. This is the AHP70 out of that Charger. Honestly, it drops right in. I mean, this thing has clearance for days. There's this pinched lip. It goes all the way around the entire firewall. It clears fine, but I talked to a guy that said he trimmed his up just for clearance, and I am going to do that because it is really nice. There's no reason not to while everything's apart. As for cooler lines, I mean, like I said, there's room for days. This is my only worry, so I ordered these 90-degree AN adapters for fitment just to make sure everything worked, and they do. Not even needed. I don't have to run 90s or anything. In these adapters here for these 8HPs, instead of running the factory, I don't even know what to call those connections, but they're a pain in the ass. But this is converted to AN. It's an Earls part. I'll put that part number so you guys have it. Yeah, the trans itself, I mean, this was the easiest part. The only thing that was not so great, Holley still hasn't sent me the polyurethane bushing that goes for this thing. Right now, I actually ordered a GM part, energy suspension part off Amazon that a couple other guys sent me and said it would work. And after I did my research, it actually will work. So I have that part coming right now. So once I get that, I'll put that in and let you know if it does work. And if you need one right now, you don't have to wait on Holly. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. I'll show you my custom Holly bushing right now. Super sweet. Yeah, that's where we're at with this. All right, just a quick out for you guys on fitment of that 392 and the 8HP 70. Previous video, it's out of a 2018 Charger. So, engine itself, the oil pan interferes with the power steering lines. Right now, I took the lines off and kept the factory pan on just so I can check everything else for fitment. You don't have to do that. You can just replace the pan right away. Oil filter cooler, it needs relocated, removed, or you can put an adapter on it for a 45 or a 90. Well, I know a lot of guys remove them. I'm going to try for the 90-degree adapter, which is from a Hellcat, which I'm not sure exactly what site sells it, but it's $280. So you might want to let me check it out, see if it works before you go waste the money, because that's quite a penny just for an adapter. And lastly, the alternator. The alternator itself, it contacts the frame. Holly makes everything you need for that, whether you want to use that factory alternator still or their one-wire alternator, which I'll probably do. The trans, no issues, like I said. I mean, you have all the space in the world for them cooler lines. I'm converting everything to AN fittings. So that'd be really sweet. The only issue I had was with that bushing, and that bushing you saw in there, that custom wood one. That is cut to size. It's not just a piece of wood thrown in there. That is actually cut to size based on Holly's specs for their bushing. And after I did research and talked to a couple guys, it's just a GM bushing. So I ordered a plain old GM bushing off of Amazon. So when that gets here, I'll verify that it fits, which I don't see it being a problem. So yeah, that's it for now for fitment. My next video, I'll be taking baseline measurements of the rear chassis. When I start cutting things up, I need to have something to come back to. So it might not be applicable to you, it might be a useless video, but it's going to be useful to me in the future. So something that's got to be done and it's got to be documented. So I look forward to the videos to come. I hope this was useful. Stay tuned. Thank you.